Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I'm going to be making I'm going to show you how I made one of the gnomes, and I'm going to do a different one here, pretty much made exactly the same way, except one's going to be an ornament and one is going to be for standing up and a little bit bigger. But they're both made exactly the same way. I know they're not as popular as they used to be because yesterday I got a ton of comments of people telling me it was enough with the gnomes already. They don't want to see the gnomes, but I had already promised my gnome lovers that I would do this video. So we're going to do a gnome. But I know, sometimes it's just overkill. A lot of people are sick of the gnomes and the red trucks, and I get it. It's like overkill sometimes. But anyway, I saw this hat and I just thought this thing looks like a gnome kit just waiting to happen, because you have the fuzzy beard here that you can use to make a beard with at the rim of the hat, and then it has this little pom-pom here which I'm not using for anything, but I love the colors with the the plaid here, and I thought this would just be the perfect thing. And you can actually make a couple of these out of one hat, so it's really a pretty good deal if you're into your gnomes. So anyway, we're going to pull this part here apart from our hat. Okay, there we go, because it just has like a little, well, it has actually a lot of glue there, but it pops off pretty easily. And then I just went around and I just cut this off at the seam. You can see where it's sewn on here. You could probably use a little picker and pick it off if you wanted to. Actually, I may try to do that. I don't know how easy that will be, but for time's sake, we're just going to cut this off because that'll be fine. But anywho, you could probably get a picker and just pick those threads out of there if you wanted to. But we're going to do this the quick and easy way here, and we're just going to cut this off of here, right at the seam. And if you wanted to, you could save this extra little piece here to make some mustaches or something with. But yeah, these are really cute. I like them. I don't even know if I have any gnomes in my Christmas decorations, but I know a lot of people really love them. And a lot of people really hate them, but they are kind of cute. They've kind of grown over on me over the years, but I just really don't think that I actually own any gnomes. Except maybe, if I picked up something from Dollar Tree last year, but I don't remember. But we are going to do this and just show you guys how easy this is. There we go. And if you don't own a cat, you think you will when you're done with this because it sheds while you're cutting it. But there we go. And that's just how easy that is to take off of there. And I'm just going to cut off that seam. And there you go. You have this big piece of beard. Now it kind of wants to go this way. You got to see which way this hair wants to fall. So it falls down nicely this way. Now the other one I tried to cut with a utility knife because I know like the heavier fabric that you get like at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something, it's actually a nice firm backing and you can cut it really easy with a utility knife. This did not want to cut nice at all that way, so I had to kind of improvise. See what I mean? Wherever you cut it, it sheds, but it stops. Once you get that off of there, it doesn't shed anymore. But alright, so I'm going to cut this little pom-pom off the top here because I don't need that. I'm going to put it aside there in case I want to use it for something else. And then we're just going to cut up this seam here. And like I said, if you want to sit and pick your little seams out, you can do that too. I'm doing it the quick, lazy way. And then this also has like a layer inside that we're going to remove too, because we don't need this extra layer here of fabric. So we're going to get that off of there too. Alright, so we're not going to take that off yet. Like I said, you can make a couple of these out of this. It's just really easy. So I'm just going to set this aside for now because I don't need it. Brush the fur off of it. Even the other fur, if you use that stuff from, like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, wherever you get your furry material, that stuff sheds too like crazy. So if you're into the beards, you got to deal with the fuzz. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to show you what I made out of the first one that I made. This was kind of an experiment. I just made this little ornament here, and I think it came out really darling. I did use this little white sock. It's a little toddler sock that I got at Dollar Tree. I don't know if it's, yeah, these were toddler size, I believe, or children's size. I don't remember how it was labeled now. I don't have the label anymore. But I have these, and then I also have the children's black sock. And this one's a little bit bigger, so this one might have been toddlers, this might have been children's size. But whatever size you want to make them, it really doesn't matter. But I used this little white toddler sock to make this little guy here. And now the bottom's all white yet. I think I'm just going to cut out a piece of this fabric and cover this up. But for my next one, I'm going to use this black sock, and I want to make him a little bit bigger because I want him to actually stand up. So that's what we're going to do with that one. But we're going to make it the same way we made this one. So if you want to make the ornament, I'm just going to add some stones in the bottom of this sock to make it, you know, a little weighted on the bottom. And that's will be pretty much the only difference. So that is it, and the size. All right, so you're going to want to take your sock here, and I usually cut it right across to make it nice and straight, right across the heel, and just cut that straight across like so. And then we're going to take some of these stones. These are those white stones from Dollar Tree. They come in those like open weave mesh bags, and they get really dusty and stuff, so I always just dump them in a plastic container because it does have quite a powdery dust to it. So I'm just going to add a few of these down here in the bottom just to give this guy some weight. I think that should be fine. Just a couple handfuls there should hold them up. Yeah, maybe a few more, just for good measure. Alright. You don't need a lot, just, you know, just want to give him something. Hold him upright. Alright. And then you're going to need some sort of stuffing. A lot of people I know get like the cheap pillows and stuff from Walmart. I actually have some stuffing here that I got from Amazon. And this stuff came so vacuum packed. I'll show you what it looks like when you order it. It did not show it this way on the website. It showed it in a regular bag like this when I ordered it, but when it came, it was, this is it. This is the stuffing. I couldn't believe how compressed this stuffing was, so it's kind of a pain getting it back. But I do have a little bit of this other polyfill I'm going to use, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Oh, there's my other little thing. Alright, so we are just going to see what we can do with this stuff that is nice and fluffy that was in a bag. And we're just going to fill this up. Like I said, you can make these as big as you want, or you can make them as small. You can make this one even smaller. If you don't want to fill it all the way up, you can just stop like right there and tie it off. But we're going to make this one a little bit bigger. Just for fun. And you want them to be kind of nice and firmly packed when you get them done. I might have enough of this. This might work. Let's see. When I pull this together, let's see. I might need a little more. Yeah, I don't even remember what brand this was from Amazon. But you really kind of gotta squeeze it all to, you know, rip it all apart rather, and kind of fluff it all back up. So I won't be doing that. See, I get lazy. Instead of going to Hobby Lobby, just grabbing a bag or Michael's, I, you know, just click a button on Amazon. And sometimes you don't exactly get what you think you're getting. I mean, it is the stuff they said, but it's just I did not expect it to be so vacuum sealed. Alright, I think that is fine. So now I'm just going to take a piece of string. This is just the baker's twine from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take that, and we're just going to squeeze our top together here. Make sure you got it all up on the top, like so. And then we're just going to wrap this around here. And then just tie that really good. I always do it 3 times. I don't know why, but I just always do. Just to be safe. Alright, so I'm going to trim that off, and then I'm going to trim a little bit of this off too. Just to kind of even that out up here. And that should hold that just fine. And this is pretty much how I make my little snowmen too. And then you can kind of shape it up a little bit, make them a little taller. And the hat's going to cover up that, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, yeah, I think that will look much better on my ornament, the black socks, honestly, unless you want to go ahead and cover it up with your fabric. Now, if I was going to make a snowman, I'd actually put another string in here and just kind of tuck that in. But, you know, gnomes don't really have like a face or anything like that, just their nose. And what I use for the nose is I had some of these little wooden balls. You can get these at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, whatever. I actually think I picked these up at AC Moore years ago. I've had these for a long time. But these are, oh, my phone is dinging. These are 1-inch dowel caps is what they're called. Why is my phone dinging? But, hang on one second. Let me shut that off here so it's not going to keep doing that. But yeah, these have a little hole in it. And actually I stuck it on top of one of these are actually chopsticks, or you could use a little dowel to paint it. Just makes it easier to paint it, and then I just have it sitting over here. And I just gave it a couple coats of this warm buff apple barrel paint. I mean, you could use whatever color suits you, or, you know, whatever skin tone you want to do. And I just gave it a couple coats of that. So that's what I'm going to use for the nose. I did buy some other things from Dollar Tree that I was going to use, but they were a little bit too big for this. So that's what we're using for that. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to do is figure out where his hat's going to be. I kind of measure everything by the hat. So I want to make a nice straight line on the bottom of this. I did pretty good until I got over here. All right. And I am just going to cut this off here. I'm going to cut it right up that middle seam. Like I said, you can make a couple of these out of this. So, and I probably just left like 4 inches on the top there. Yeah, it all depends on how much filling you have in your little sock here and stuff, on what size you want to make it. And I'm actually going to, I hope that's going to fit around here. Yes, okay. I have to cut off that piece there where it has that big hunk of glue. All right, so we're going to trim that, whoops, a little bit straighter across. There we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the brim of this hat real quick, and then I will figure out, this size shows up a lot darker, doesn't it? Yes. All right, so I think I want this to be the front of my hat. So what I'm going to do is just fold this little guy up here just a little bit like so. Whoops, run a little bit of hot glue down here, or you could sew it if you want to. It's totally up to you. And I'm just going to put that up like, I don't know, it's probably like 1/4 of an inch. Ugh, glue. This glue gun drips. I never had a glue gun that dripped like this one. All right, and then we're just going to run a bead of hot glue all the way down there. Roll this little guy up. And then we're going to roll him up one more time. So I'm just going to put it, whoops, why is this thing, where's my paper towel? I don't know. I just had one here. What did I do with it? Not a clue. Disappeared. I just wanted to wipe that off, but we'll deal with it here, I guess. All right. We're just going to put another bead of glue right above that one. Right above our folded piece. And then we're going to fold it up again. There we go. And there, then you have a nice finished edge for the front of your hat. Alright, so now you're going to take your little guy here and you're going to measure to see exactly where you're going to want this little hat to go. Oh, he's just going to make it on this one. Alright, so I'm thinking probably right about down there. And then actually this may be long enough on the height wise. So, you know, that's totally up to you guys too. You can make it longer, shorter, taller hat, shorter hat, whatever. So now I'm just going to finish cutting this one up here on an angle. Like so. Yeah, let me just show that again real quick. You're just going to take your little hat with your brim here, pull it around to the back to make sure he's going to fit right, and then just kind of cut it up like a triangle almost, and that will be his little flopping over hat. All right, so now we're going to put our rim on the inside, and then you can either, like I said, sew this together or hot glue it. We're going to hot glue this one here. And I'm just going to hot glue this together all the way down to the bottom. And then we're just going to fold this over and glue it down. Oh no, I got some of it on the inside. Come out, come out, come out. There we go. All right. And then for the top, hopefully I got that good. I had to pull that out. For the top, I'm just going to tie that together like I tied this little guy here with my, oops, there it is, with my little baker's twine. You just kind of want to bunch it up till you get them all even there on the top. And then we're just going to tie that off. You could hot glue it too if you wanted to, but I find it easier to just wrap a string around it and tie it off. And we're just going to knot that. If my fingers want to cooperate, they don't. Come on, string, let's go. Give me a hard time. There we go. Give that a little tug. Ooh, the sun's coming out. It has been another drizzly, ugly, rainy day again. I wanted to get this video up much earlier today, but of course I had to take my car in today because there was a part for the heated seats that was not installed when I bought it, and that finally came in. So that's at the garage getting done. And then I had a new stove delivered today because my other one, it was very old. Trust me, I've had that thing for I don't know how long. And it just quit working on me the other day right when we were getting ready to make a nice chicken dinner, of course. But anyway, had all that going on here today, so I just didn't even know if I was going to get to this today. But I'm still waiting on my car to get done, so I figured I may as well sit here and do this instead of just waiting. All right, so there, turn it right side out, and there is our little gnome hat. I did get glue on the outside because I tucked that in. Well, we'll cover it up. You'll never know. No one will ever know. All right, so then I like to fit this little guy on here. And you can just kind of shove that up in there, and there is his little hat. And then we're going to pull this down to the side here, put a little pom-pom on there, and it'll be lovely. But anyway, I like to get this on first. That way I can kind of judge where everything else is going to go. Alright, so now we need our beard. Now this isn't quite wide enough, so we're going to actually glue two pieces together. And like I said, this stuff did not want to cut nicely for me or anything, but we're going to figure this out. So I'm just going to cut this off a little bit longer than it's going to be so I can trim it up nice and it doesn't look wonky. Let me pull this excess off the top. There we go. So that's going to go up underneath the hat. And then I'm going to take another piece here, pull the loose stuff off, and I cut that one the same size, and then we'll shape it up to look like a beard after. And then see, you have enough here for another beard. Although I might use a little piece of this. I think I have a piece left from the other one too that I can just use for the back. Don't know what I did with that, but it's around here somewhere. I'll just use this one for now. Alright, so this guy, now I've got to do a little bit different than I did on the other one. I want to pull all of this fur over to the side before I glue it together. And what I use is I like to use one of these denture brushes. You can get these at Dollar Tree. These are great for crafting. Like if you want to like do speckled, like white speckles on something, you know, dip it in the paint and kind of flick it, do little flicking speckles like snow or whatever. These are great for that. Plus they're great for scrubbing stuff and everything else. And of course they're great for false teeth too, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm just going to comb all this over to the side. And you want to make sure you got your beard going, you know, the same way, because you'll see which way that it's going over. And then on this one too, I'm going to push this over to the side. Now this one has a big crease under it. But I did not do this with the other one, and that was a huge mistake because you can actually, it kind of looks funny here in the front, so that's why we're doing it this way. Alright, so now that we got both of those pulled over, I'm just going to run a bead of glue down the side here and try not to get too much of this fur on it. I mean, honestly, the store-bought fur is so much easier to work with than this, but I figure for $1.25 you can make 2 gnomes, and it just looked like a gnome kit that had to be put together here. Alright, so we're just going to glue this little guy together here, just like so, and then we can comb all that fur down. Alright, I'm going to let that sit there and cool for a second. It'll stick to the table. You can see where I have it combed over. So for the little decorations, I'll show you what I'm going to use on those too while that's cooling off. I got a pack of these mini pine picks from Dollar Tree. These come 6 in a thing, and I love these. These are really nice. And I just cut a few of these tips off. Yanking this one out of here. This is the one I've already cut up quite a bit. Has a little bit of silver glitter in it. Not too bad. But I'm going to use that. And then out of... did I lose my pine cone I had out here? I'm on a roll. Well, we're going to have to find another pine cone. A little pine cone I got out of this decorative filler that they have at Dollar Tree. They usually have this in the section where they have all the candle holders and stones and all that kind of stuff. And this had a lot of nice size little pine cones. And I'm going to use a couple of berries and stuff, and well, we'll get to it. And a couple of these snowflakes. These little snowflakes, though, I got from AliExpress. I usually buy them, well, not very often, because you get like 100 of them for really cheap. And that's where I always get them from. But you can find something similar at Dollar Tree. And also, Dollar Tree had these little sticker snowflakes out too that you could use that are just as pretty. So I love those. Alright, let's see. You all done here? Alright, so then we'll just comb our little beard down, and you can't even tell. But yeah, that was the mistake I made with that guy. I did not separate the fur at all on the other one, and then, yeah, regretted it in the end. But that's why I figured I'd make one first before I totally mess this up. Okay, so I'm going to just size this guy on here. So he fits around to about, oops, I'm going to get him halfway to the back. And then I'm going to add another piece back here that'll be just like his hair, because this guy's a little bit bigger than that one. So he's going to go up here, so this needs to end like maybe about down here. Say maybe an inch off the bottom to make him fit right. So I am going to comb all this fur up and cut it, because like I said, I had a really hard time trying to cut it from the back. So we're going to give him another good brushing here and push all the fur up like so. And I'm going to measure him again. That might still be too long, but we can trim the ends when we're done. So let's just cut this piece off here and see how that's going to look. So we're just going to come down a little bit on an angle, round it off just a little bit, and then let's see how that's going to look. That should be fine. You can just trim them off if you want to, but I kind of like it longer, maybe even just sitting on the table like that. I think that looks cute, because then you won't see your sock. So I'm going to leave that just the way it is. And then I'll also show you how we make his little mustache stick out of there too, which is kind of cool. Really easy to do. Alright, so I am just going to take this little guy here and put this up under here. Just lift the hat up a little bit. And I'm just going to tack down the center piece here, so I know where that's going. Alright. And that's going to go there, and I think that'll be good. I don't want to pull that hat down yet. So let's see. There we go. So we're just going to tack this down. I think that's perfect. And like I said, I'm not going to give exact measurements on this, because every one you make will be totally different. It depends on the stuffing. It depends on what size sock you're using or what kind of fur, whatever. So, you know, you just kind of got to put it on and fit it however you want it. And I think that is good right there. Alright, so now I'm going to pull this hat back down over top of the beard. There we go. Do we have it the right way? Yes, this needs to be turned a little bit more. There we go. I want that in the back. All right, so that's what we have here so far. And like I said, it depends on how long you want the beard. If you want it long, you want it short, whatever. So let's see. Am I going to need to? I think I'm going to need to use this whole thing for this bigger one. I am. I'm going to have to cut like 2 pieces of this. Well, all right. So if you're making the ornaments, you'll definitely get 2 out of here. But if you're making the bigger one here that stands up, I'm thinking we're only going to be able to make 1. All right. So now we're just going to brush this fur back up here so I can trim this a little bit because I have it cut off really straight there at the bottom. I don't want it to be straight. There, so that should look better. The hair hangs down over that. That's perfect. All right, now how long do we want your little hair here? Just about like that. So now we're actually going to push this up here and cut it, because that way I won't have to trim this for the next one. All right, so there's one side of his hair. Just separate that there, make a nice little part, and then we can cut that off there, and then this part will be all set. Perfect. He is going to need a little haircut though. Okay, so let me double check again. Yep, I think that's good. All right, so now we're just going to measure this one to this one and comb it back up again. You will have some extra fur. You might even be able to make another one of the ornaments with this. All right, let's get this fuzzy stuff out of here. All right, so now we have our 2 pieces for the back. I thought maybe 1 would fit, but I did make this guy quite chunky. That's why I said can't do measurements because it depends on the sock, depends on how much filling, you know, yada, yada, yada. All right, let me comb that stuff over to the side. And whoops, make sure I'm going in the right direction here. Okay, so then this side, comb that over a little bit so we can glue these 2 together. And just put a bead down there. I mean, if you have your own fur, you would definitely not have to go through all this trouble. But I figured for $1.25, if you can get like a couple of these little gnomes out of this, I thought it was well worth the trouble. All right, so then we'll just brush that back down and you can't even see the seam anymore. Whoops, get in there. I need to wait till it cools. All right. Now, let me trim this a little bit so it's even. I think that will do. That is just perfect. All right, so we're just going to take this little hat off for now since we have everything measured out. Get that fur out of my way. And we're just going to glue this right across the back. So he has like a big old head of hair. All right, so let's just put that back here. And there you go. See, he's pretty ugly without his hat on, isn't he? All right, so I'm going to tack this down here, this part of the beard. We're just going to tack down, and then this side here I'm going to pull over and tack this down. I'm getting hairs all over my glue gun. All right, so that's tacked down. Tack down that side there. Oh, I think that's just lovely. As far as your gnome hair goes, it's lovely. All right. Tack that side down and a little bit on this side. And there we go. And that is the back of his hair. And like I said, you can trim this up a little bit if you want to make it a little bit shorter. But that is it. That is the hard part of this whole project, is just getting this hair right, getting your beard right, and everything else. I also want to trim this little piece of this hat off here because I don't like the way that looks. All right, so now let me make sure I get the back on where I want it here. So the back is right there. We're just going to tuck everything under his little hat now. You can actually squeeze these. It makes it much easier. I don't know why I'm not. Trying not to mess his hair up so much, but I am. Alright, now we gotta get this all tucked back up under here. There we go. I'm gonna have to heat that up and get that glue off of there. I don't like that on here. Maybe it'll pick off now. No, it'll pick off. Okay, good. I'll finish that after. Okay. That little spot of glue was just bugging me. Alright, do I have this thing right now? I think so. Or did I flip it up one too many? Nope, it's right. Alright, so there is your hairy this is a very hairy gnome. He kind of looks like Cousin It. Oh my god, this is too funny. But he's very hairy. Yep. Okay. Get back in there. Why am I having a hard time getting this back up underneath here? It should slide right back in there. Alright, there he goes. I think I'm actually rolling this up one more than it should. I am. That's why. Alright. Roll back down. There we go. So now we are going to get his little nose. Actually, I'm going to tack this down here on the sides because this is bugging me. It wants to keep sliding back up. So let's glue this down on the sides here. Ugh. There we go. Get that back up underneath there. There we go. That's under. Stay. And then I'm going to do this other side here so it doesn't keep popping up on me while I'm doing this. Oh, I'm getting all stuck in the hair. Alright. We'll get you. There. I made this guy way too fat. He's just a fat little gnome. Let me get that hot glue that got stuck in there. Poor dude. Alright. Yeah, he is very Cousin It-ish. Cousin It-ish? Yeah, there you go. Now for his little nose, we're just going to figure out exactly where you want to place that. I kind of wanted it to tuck underneath the hat just a little. Just like come down just on top of it, if you know what I mean. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to, I've got to find my paper towel. This is driving me crazy with the, oh, here's a little rag. I can use that. This hair is sticking to the end of my glue gun. There we go. All right, so do I have this where I want? Oh yeah, right there. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of glue here on this little wooden bead thing here, or what are they calling it? I don't even remember. And we're just going to tuck that so his hat comes down over it just a little bit. Oh, you're going to pop right out of there, aren't you? You little stinker. I can't believe I got all this hot glue in this little fur. It'll come out. Alright, I'm just picking here while I'm waiting for this glue to cool down. I keep losing things. Maybe I can just brush it out. Oh, it actually does brush out. Ah, look at that. Groom your little gnome. Alright, so now I want this hat just to come up over this nose a little bit. So I am just going to put a little bit of hot glue right up here on top of his nose. And then we're just going to pull that hat up there and let that cool off. Just so it's just at the top of the nose. Yes, this dude is so hairy. He just looks very, very pudgy. You know, I can thin him out a little bit there. There we go. All right. All right, but that's it. That is pretty much the gist of a gnome. They just have a nose and a bunch of hair. Yes, these guys are kind of cool. But oh, I think this will be my one and only attempt at these gnomes, because as fun as they are, they're kind of a pain. But if you want to make the mustache, all you need to do is just pull some of this stuff up here, get a little bit of hairspray, pull these over like so, and just yank some of these up, and then, you know, pull the rest of them, get your little grooming brush here and pull the rest of that down. Just put a little bit of hairspray on there and just kind of twist these little things, and it makes this really funny mustache. So that part I do love about the gnomes. And then for his hat up here, I took one of these pom-poms. These are from Dollar Tree, Crafter's Square. And I took one of the bigger ones. I was going to use a smaller one, but it didn't, sorry about the crinkles, it didn't quite look right. So we're going to use a big old pom-pom on his hat here, and we're just going to glue that right on the tip here where we had tied it together. So we're just going to add a bunch of glue there and just glue this pom-pom right on top of that, just like so. There we go. So let me just hold that a second. So there's his cute little hat. See, he's getting cuter by the second. He's going to grow on you guys, I'm telling you. All right. But I'm sure there's a million other ways to make these little guys, but I just wanted to experiment with these hats. I just thought, when I saw it, I just thought, wow, you get all your fur for the beard and stuff. It's just, I just thought it was a great deal if you are into making a bunch of gnomes. So there is that. Now I'm just going to cut off my little decorations. This is the fun part. My wire cutters. Some of these had wires, some of them did not. But I'm just going to cut a few of these little pieces, these pine picks off, and add a few snowflakes. And we're just going to glue these right up here on his hat. Yeah, it will be fun. So let's see, we'll run right up this way. And then we'll put the other one over here. Whoops, I need more glue. All right, here we go. Make them stick upward. And I'm going to put my little pine cone. I wish I knew where that little pine cone went. I just found the perfect pine cone that I wanted to use for this. And I had it here on my book. And I think I have knocked it down somewhere. So now I got to dig through this thing again to find another perfect pine cone. Unless I see it on the floor here while I'm waiting for this to cool. I don't see him. I don't know where you went. I have all my flowers here. It's probably down in these leaves and flowers next to me. Alright, we're going to find another little pine cone. I just taped this all shut nice so it wouldn't fall all over. Alright, we need another little pine cone. This guy's a little bit bigger, so we can deal with a little bit bigger pine cone on this one. I'm going to tape that. Alright, there we go. So we're going to take this little pine cone here. I think, I don't know if I want, I think I might want it facing down. I'm going to cut this little nub off the back of it. So we're just going to glue that right in there. And then we need to add a little bit of color. So we're going to put a few more little beads. Actually, what I did use for some of that was some of these, this is all the vase filler I collected from last year. They had all different kinds of Dollar Tree. I just dumped them all in one bag. But, oh, you can see that one there. Alright, so we're going to add a little snowflake there where I got the glue. So I'm just going to take one of these that I got from AliExpress and just put that down there. And that'll cover up my boo-boo. Perfect. You never know what happened. So put that down there. And then, I don't know if I want to add any more snowflakes to this one. I might just add a few of these little things that I'm going to use these like as berries. Because I have not found the really, really red berries yet. But they have these really tiny, if I can get a hold of them. These real small little things that look like a berry. Pretty much what their berry picks are made out of anyways, these little styrofoam balls. But of course they're all down in the bottom. Oh, maybe we'll give them a silver one. And I want another red one. Let's find another red one. There we go. There we go. We'll just, oh, that one's a little bit bigger. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be the same size. But yeah, these all came in like separate little bags from last year, and it's just easier just to dump them all in one when you store them. Alright, so let's see. Maybe I'll put the red berry on top of the, no, I will put the silver berry on top of the pine cone up here. And then I'll put the little red berries next to it. Just to give him a little Christmas cheer here. My hairy little gnome dude. Alright guys, I think that is all I am going to do to this little guy. Now what I did for this one here, that I didn't put any stuff in, any stones in to hang him up, see he's much, much smaller, is I just took a piece of this baker's twine and a darning needle, and I just put a piece of this right through the hat to use as a little hanger, so you could hang him on your tree if you wanted to. Or you could have this little guy stand too if you wanted to. You can make a whole little gnome family. But that is it. That is my little gnome project here today. Don't know if I'm going to be making any more gnomes because, oy. I had so many people tell me how much they hate these little guys. But that's okay. Everything's not for everybody. Alright, so there they are. Let me hold these little guys up here. And of course it's nice and dark and cloudy. And my lights just don't seem to be making it as bright in here as it used to be. Sometimes these things fade after a while, these daylight bulbs that I have. But here are these little guys. I'll take a nice picture of them at the end here. I'll set them up with some Christmas cheer of some sort, and I'll put them at the end of the video. But that was my little project for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day, everyone.